Billy, Harvey, and I decided to do a record together a few months prior to October 26th, 2007. I wanted it to be rhythmic. I wasn't going so much for a rock thing as something that was rhythmic, very rhythmic. The session pretty much, well, for me anyway, was booked around J.J. Johnson, the drummer's time, when he was available. I had seen him perform on television. I had watched a special he did on the Sundance Channel with John Mayer, and was just completely into what he was doing in that band. So once we knew when he could do the record, then we started to call everybody else. And John Ginty, who played the keys, I first met John when I was on tour opening for Citizen Cope. George Reef played the bass, and Billy, Harvey on guitar and as producer. And then I sang and played piano and played acoustic guitar.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Billy and I met when he was on tour with Bob Schneider, singer-songwriter from Austin.
I mean, the repeat, the second cycle of it, are we going back, or are we going to keep it?
I don't know, that shit was, we'll see if it's, I always thought we would go back.
I hear him going like a big snare roll out of that into a tight jamming.
How do you guys hear that? I always hear it.
When I was looking to make this record, I was talking to Bob on the phone, and he said, "You should really listen to some of the stuff Billy's producing." And so Billy sent me a CD of some of the stuff he'd been working on, and I fell in love with it, and particularly his production. So once we decided to do a record together, we talked for a pretty long time about who should play on the record and what we hoped it would sound like. We talked about the studios that we're going to work in, and everything sort of just fell together over the course of a few weeks.
Tonight I want to leave tall buildings in a single bound when I'm feeling like a stranger.
JJ he's a character, a great drummer, and if you listen to some of the tracks, you can hear what sounds like maybe an overdub or a percussion, but it's actually, he makes a percussive sound with his mouth while he's playing, and sometimes it sounds like a beat, sometimes it sounds like a grunt, and it's how he keeps time with how he's playing. And rather than ask him to stop doing it, we just let him do his thing, and we kept a lot of those sounds on the record. So it's a pretty cool thing to hear, and it's something he does that is unique to him, as far as I know. JJ sort of set the tone for a lot of the foundation of the rhythms, and was a real important part of coming up with a lot of the character of the songs. Jack Rock Studio in Austin, Texas. It was owned by Jack Rock, and it's in his home, and this guy is he's a really cool guy, and all the cool old vintage gear that was there, and some of it was really, really rare. I think he could put most of the gear that he has in the studio together and take it apart again, or build it if he wanted to. So he was an extra ingredient in the making of this record.
I can't see. One day maybe the two shall meet and fly away like a bird, like a plane, like a bird, like a plane.
Was crisp and kind of fall-like, even though it probably should have been winter at the time. But it kind of reminded me of what I imagined recording in the Hollywood Hills would be like.
I know you think that these are walls of stone and that you made
started out to make the record, we wanted to get as much of it as we could live. A lot of the records that I enjoy and listen to and love are live. I think 4 of the songs on the record are pretty much live in the room, vocal and all the playing on it is live, which was really cool, and it was the first time that I had done something like that in a while, and it's not easy to do to get live takes that sound good enough to put them out on a record, and I attribute that largely to the quality of musicianship that was in the room.
My only thing
is having to be too sleepy or something.
Yeah. When the second verse kicks in, it needs to go here. You know, instead of just, it feels like a lot of the song, we're just waiting for the song to kick in.
We were listening to the playbacks in the studio, and I just felt like we had something special, and it turns out, you know, that every song after that continued to feel the same way. So it was a super cool thing. We came up with something that I feel like was a realization of the hopes that I'd had for going in to make this record, and it was a lot of fucking fun. It was a lot of fucking fun.
Tomorrow it never comes. When you come my way, I feel fine. We are a cure together, babe. Why don't you meet me by the back door? You're old. I can meet you by the back door. You're old. Why don't you meet me by the back door? You're old. I can meet you, yeah, I can meet you.
It really just felt like some friends coming together and recording a record that happened very naturally. I hope that you enjoy it. Okay.
We can move some of those around and see what doubling versus whatever sounds like.